Hey noobs, welcome to Las Vegas. I'm your host Kevin, but you can call me the Vegas Nerd. I'm celebrating my 15th year living in Las Vegas, and I'm here to share some helpful tips to help you plan your first trip to Sin City. So today we're going to talk about attending your first conference, convention, or trade show. So let's get started. Planning ahead can prepare you for a much more relaxed and enjoyable Vegas experience. It can also help you stay in a nicer or more convenient hotel and give you a little more time and maybe some money to enjoy the unique entertainment options that Vegas has to offer after your day at the convention or trade shows. So let's look at some of the info you need to develop your Vegas plan. All right, so this is a screenshot of the Vegas events calendar that's provided by Vegas Means Business and the Las Vegas Convention Authority. You can find details, dates, and locations of your event, and we'll talk about how that's useful in a moment. But let's use CES 2025 for our example. All right, so we can see from the calendar January 7th through 10th, the Consumer Technology Association CES Consumer Electronics Show. Most of the events are held at the Las Vegas Convention Center. There's an estimated 138,000 people who will attend this event. All right, so right now, after the loss of the Mirage and Tropicana, we're down to approximately 140,000 hotel rooms in Las Vegas. So this could be a problem. It's one of the busiest events in Las Vegas, and virtually every room will be booked. So, how does that affect you? All right, so in Las Vegas, if you've never been here before, the room rates change every day and they're directly affected by the supply and demand. So, the more people in Las Vegas, the more expensive everything is. If it's slow, everything's cheaper. So, let's look at an example. So, in about a week ago, I took a screenshot of a page of a mid-range, moderately priced hotel that's near the convention center. And for a Sunday night, which is the slowest night in Las Vegas, pretty good offer, $31 for a Sunday night before Christmas. But keep in mind, anytime you see a room rate in Las Vegas, you need to add resort fees, taxes, and parking to that rate. So my Sunday night room, $31 plus resort fees, which in this case is $50, plus taxes, about 13% room tax on that total. My $31 room is now over $100, right? So, just some other examples. On the 13th and 14th, that was the Las Vegas Rodeo, $369, plus resort fee, plus taxes on that total, plus parking. All right, so you can see it can get pretty expensive. On the night of the 7th, if you attend the first day and night of CES, my $31 room is $434, right? So 434 plus 50 plus taxes on that total, plus if you have a car, you're going to pay for parking on top of that. So it could be well over $500 a night to attend CES. And this is at a moderate to lower price hotel, but it is very close to the convention center. All right, so plan ahead. So, just a tip, if this is your first convention or second or third, If your event is primarily at the convention center, I strongly recommend choosing a hotel that you have access to the monorail, right? Because the monorail runs from during convention times 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. And if you stay at a hotel on the west side of the strip, or excuse me, the east side of the strip, you'll have direct access to the monorail and you can avoid waiting in line for rideshare, taxis. There is often a shuttle provided by the event, but if you've ever been to an event before, you know there are huge crowds of people waiting for that shuttle. So if you'd like to, you can buy a 3-day pass, unlimited pass for the monorail for about $30. So no waiting, no traffic. If you stay at one of the hotels where you see these little red structures, that's actually one of the spots where you can board the monorail or get off when you're finished. And it basically just goes from the MGM Grand to the convention center, down to the Sahara, turns around and comes back. Just goes back and forth. And there are several cars. The busier the event, the more cars there will be, or trains. All right. There is another option, a fairly new option. If you stay at Resorts World and you would like to ride in the Vegas Loop, so you go downstairs underneath Resorts World, you get in a Tesla, and there is a short wait. You get in a Tesla, takes you underground through the loop, drops you off at the convention center, and then when you're ready to go back to your hotel, you just go back underground under the convention center, take a Tesla back to your hotel. And during conventions, that's actually $5 round trip, but you do have to have a convention badge. So I'll try and provide some links for that. But let's take a closer look at the map. If I were staying my first trip to Las Vegas, the airport is right here. All right. So we're going to talk about the airport in just a second. It's the number one question. But I would consider a mid range, reliable, trusty hotel like the MGM Grand. You can go through the back door, get on the monorail, take you straight to the convention center. So it's going to stop briefly at each one of these red buildings. The monorail stop. It's going to go by the Sphere, takes you straight to the convention center. All right. So my choice would be MGM Grand, um, Paris. I actually like Paris. You would go through the tunnel to the Horseshoe, which used to be Bally's, go out the back door, can get on the monorail right there. All right. So Flamingo has a stop. So there are different options. If you want to stay on the other side of the strip, choose a location. You walk to the bridge, cross over the strip, and then go through there. So that's going to add 10 minutes to your walk time. So plan ahead for that. But you don't have to stay on the east side of the strip. You can stay on the west side and still have access to the monorail. I've talked to people who've been here 10 trips to Las Vegas, have no idea that we have monorail. And it's pretty convenient, safe, and affordable. All right, so let's talk about quickly the number one question for coming to Las Vegas. How do I get from the airport to the hotel? All right, so just like any big city, the options are fairly similar. It's just a little bit more complicated in Las Vegas because of the layout. So, unfortunately, the monorail does not go to the airport. It would make everyone's life easier if it did, but I don't think that's going to happen in the future. So, a few years ago, I would not recommend a taxi, but to be honest, the taxi system is now has set charges and set prices. So to Zone 1, Zone 2, or Zone 3. So Mandalay Bay, MGM Grand, they would be in Zone 1. Your taxi ride would be $21 plus $3 if you use a credit card plus a tip. All right, so still under $30. All right, $26 to zone 2 plus $3 if you use a credit card and a tip. And most cabs, taxis, it's per trip, not per person. So if you have other people in your group, or you have family or friends, or you can find someone who's going to the same hotel, it's that $30 fee per trip. All right. So rideshare, Uber and Lyft could be a little bit cheaper. Honestly, it's not going to be a lot cheaper. And if it's surge pricing, if there's 138,000 people flying into Las Vegas, there's going to be surge pricing. So it could actually cost more than a taxi. So if you're used to rideshare, don't have a problem with it. When you're, after you get off of your plane, go to pick up your baggage, you're going to follow the sign for ground transportation outside of the baggage. Just check your phone. All right. But remember that in almost every location in Las Vegas, the taxi line where the taxis are, the rideshare pickup are in separate locations. And that's true at the airport too. And another option, so many, many years ago, when I used to come to Las Vegas before I moved here, I would use the shuttle bus. If you're in a hurry, the shuttle bus is not your best option because it's going to literally stop at every hotel between the airport and your hotel. If you're one of the first stops, Mandalay Bay or MGM Grand, it's a great option. I enjoyed it because it's like a free tour down the strip of all the different hotels. All right. And limousine is an option if you're a high roller, or let's say you booked 10 rooms for your company at the Bellagio. All right. I would call your contact at the Bellagio and say, hey, I'm at the airport. Can you send a limo? And there is an option, there is a chance that they would do that for you. If you want to pay for a limo, you can hire one at the airport. If you want to make connections, call the concierge at your hotel. They will charge you for the limo, but it can be a fun way to impress your friends. All right. So there are two other options. The RTC bus, that's our local bus system. Honestly, if it's your first time here, I don't recommend the bus. It'll save you $5 or $10. But if you don't know how the bus system works and you arrive at 2 a.m. in the morning, you're going to be lost somewhere close to the strip, but not on the strip, in the dark, dragging your luggage. So save it for your second trip, or learn how the bus system works first. Normally, car rental would have been an option, but honestly, 95% of the hotels in Las Vegas now charge for parking. All right. So you think, oh, yeah, I can rent a car. We'll go to the hotel, and then we can use the car to go to the convention center. All right. So that would be a 10-minute ride that turns out lasting an hour just because of the traffic. And you'll probably have to pay at the convention center. You're going to have to pay when you come back to your hotel. Or you think, hey, I'm going to go to a show at MGM. I'm staying down here at the Venetian. I'll just drive to the show. Okay. So you're going to have to pay when you go park at the MGM Grand, and you're going to have to pay again when you go back to the Venetian. So it's easily $20 or $25 a night for parking. And you say, oh, but we're going to go to the Grand Canyon. So that's great. You can drive to the Grand Canyon. Oh, I would actually suggest that you take a tour instead. But if you want to drive your car to the Grand Canyon, then I would strongly suggest renting the car the day that you're going to drive to the Grand Canyon or early that morning, and then drive there and drive back. Turn your car in, you don't have to pay for parking. So keep that in mind. All right. So I'll try to include the links of all the websites that we talked about below the video. And if you found this information useful, I hope you'll subscribe and learn more about planning your future adventures in Las Vegas. So, again, I'm the Vegas Nerd. Thanks for watching.